Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Debbie and you are watching Just Debbie Marie. So today I'm gonna be sharing with you a testimony about how I quit my job. So if you guys want to be encouraged, if you guys want to hear about my experience, please stay tuned. As usual, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel. We are at 400 and odd subscribers, which is truly a blessing, so I really want to thank you guys for subscribing to the channel so far. Also, I want to remind you guys to like this video. If you have been enjoying my content, please remember to like, because the likes really do help a lot. Also, if you are watching today, I want you to leave in the comments a smiley face, just for a little bit of encouragement, because this will be an interesting story to recount. So leave a smiley face in the comments to let me know that you are watching today's video. I want to remind you guys to check out the previous video on my channel and also my other channel called JAMAICAN. Recently, I was asked to share a testimony in a praise and prayer and thanksgiving event that my church was putting on. And if you guys know me, I sometimes can be a little bit timid, which is probably something that you guys don't know in actuality, because y'all see me on here and probably think, oh my god, you know, she's so whatever. But you know, sometimes there are times when, especially when it comes on to certain things, that I don't necessarily want to share. And so, you know, I was thinking about it and whatever, but I decided to share the testimony. After sharing the testimony at the event, I decided that I felt like this was a video that I wanted to record, because, you know, I don't know how it can encourage someone, and so I'm gonna be recording it. So I just want the Lord to just lead me through this video, because as I said, you know, it's not one of the most easiest videos that I will have to recount, or one of the easiest stories that I will have to tell, but it's a story on faith, on trusting in God's timing. And I know maybe some of you who watch me are probably not believers in God, in Jesus the Christ, the Holy Spirit. So this video may not be for you, but if it is for you, I really hope that it impacts you in a really special way. So this job that I'll be sharing with you about was actually the first job, official job I should say, that I would have gotten right as I ended university. I didn't even graduate yet, but I got the job probably like a month after like my final exam at university. And so of course I was excited, because sometimes as young people, especially in Jamaica, and I don't know if anybody else is watching from anywhere else, but it's definitely hard to get yourself going, especially when you have just graduated, especially if you don't really have any experience in terms of work, especially if you don't really know people like that to kind of give you a foot in somewhere. It can be a challenge, you know, sometimes getting gainful employment, especially right out of university like that. But you know, I had a friend, and you know, she basically told me that where she was working was looking for someone, and I don't know, I just felt comfortable. She was a very, very good friend, and I was excited just because I'm like, okay, I'm actually gonna have an opportunity, you know, to get a job. You know, that's if they would have hired me, because at the time she was just telling me about the position and stuff, and you know, she was kind of telling me like they do like to hire kind of close knit. So if you know somebody, you know, they're rather to hire, you know, on that kind of basis. And I mean, I understand why. So basically, because we knew each other, she recommended me and so on, and I went ahead and did the job interview, and they basically, I guess, lied to me and decided to hire me like right away. So I think I probably would have started like maybe a couple days after or so, but I started very quickly. And so of course, you know, you're excited, you're starting to make real money now, and because before I would have had jobs, like I worked through my university career. I was so blessed to do that, and that in itself is another testimony. But I was able to work part-time during university, and I would work every single summer and so on. But this was my first full-time gig, you know, and so of course you're making more than you would in the little, you know, side jobs or, you know, part-time jobs and stuff. So you know, you feel good. I also felt good because she was there, so it's not like I was going into a new situation where I didn't know anyone. So she was there as a, you know, as a familiar face, and we would have been working very closely together. We would have almost been like in the same department. Well, that was the aim, for us to be in the same department. So anyway, you know, I got there and, you know, I was like, alright, this is cool, you know, this is nothing that I can't handle. Granted, this job was not a part of what I would have studied in university, but I'm honestly the type of person where I feel like I can learn anything anywhere. I'm somebody who likes to learn and likes to improve themselves. So even if it's not something that I would have studied, I just feel like, well, I know I can leave there with something. No matter what, I know I can learn something. After working there, you know, a few months, I started to notice that the place actually was not as it seemed. People want themselves or their organizations to look a certain way. They want to make people on the outside looking in think that things are perfect, that they're kind, that they're loving, that they're respectful, that we're close-knit, we're a family, we look out for each other. And honestly, that would have been the kind of environment that, I mean, anybody would probably want to be in, right? But as I said, a few months in, I realized that that was not so, especially when it came from management. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what would have happened, but I just noticed that there were a lot of toxic traits. There were a lot of situations that I was kind of like, what? Like, are you being for real? You know, those things that happen and you're like, then I did really say you did stay. I really saw you did stay. So anyway, I was there though, because honestly, I know that people always talk about the work world being challenging. You know, you're dealing with different people who come from different walks of life, you know, people who have different values maybe than you do. And so I figured, you know, I can't go somewhere and it be perfect, you know what I mean? You're gonna have your fair share of challenges, especially in the corporate world. But then it started to get worse. It started to get worse and worse, and I soon realized that I didn't want to stay at that place, and I wouldn't be there for very much longer, you know what I mean? But I'm the type of person where, yeah, I might not say I want to leave, but because of my faith and because of how God did in my life, me not gonna make a step without God saying boom bam, time for go, pack up your clothes and left. Me not gonna do that. God just saw me stay, understand? And so I was there for about close to 2 years. I was there for close to 2 years, and I was much more sad. Every day when I had to get up and come to work, I was just so sad. And if people never really know me, like me and all the employees weren't close, but for the most part, most of them were cool. I actually did manage to make some very good friends and acquaintances at that place. If I brought them up right now, like we have a ball and we laugh, and you know, understand? Because they also were feeling the blunt of what was happening, you know, they were feeling it as well. And I feel like this place too was the kind of place where they hired a lot of young people. It wasn't a very large company, but what I came to notice over the time that I was there is that they hired a lot of young people who were probably like really smart. And as I said, they hired close-knit. So if you knew someone or whatever, that's how, you know, you came into the company and stuff. And trust me, it was very difficult. And when I said difficult, it wasn't the job itself, it was just management. As I say, it was a very small company, and management basically controlled everything. It wasn't like a company where you have, you know, a supervisor or a team lead who manages certain people. They managed everything and everyone, right? And because of how they were, it made it very difficult to work there. And even though I would have been going through so many issues with them, because issues, when I say issues, I mean like being disrespectful. And I feel like, as I said, when I was talking about the fact that I think they hire young, I think that they did that because, you know, when you're young and you just come out of school and you're like, you don't really know what you're worth sometimes, or you don't really know that things that are happening to you, it's not supposed to go that way. And so I feel like, you know, they really kind of take advantage of the fact that you're young and you don't have much experience working in a corporate setting, and they use that to their benefit. So yeah, they might have been paying you a little bit more than the average company was paying for a graduate of university, right, you know, right out of school, but the treatment was not worth it. So they were disrespectful. they didn't value your time. They also used to tell you to do things, so they used to instruct you to do X and Y and Z, and when you did it, they would almost come back and say, why would you do this? This makes no sense. Are you silly? Like, why are you doing this foolishness? Remove this from in front of me. So it was just very toxic, and other little things too. As I said, I won't get into every single detail, but it was a difficult time, and being there longer and longer became even more difficult. But I already said, God, you need to let me know when it is time to leave. And I kept saying it to him, and I said, God, me not want you make it where me a if and me not sure and whatever. Like, I wanted to make it plain and straight and clear when we're supposed to pack up and leave. Anyway, something happened. Something happened there, and I was just like, yo, this, I can't believe this. I can't believe say after them people are deal with me. It's almost as if they forgot to do something, and it's like because they forgot something, they were now blaming you for what they forgot to do. And I'm like, but this can't serious. This cannot be serious. As a big somebody like that, that cannot be serious. Anyway, I said, God, obviously this is not the time, because I never make it plain and straight. And then something else happened. Now, if you know me, like, I am a very professional person. Wherever I would have worked, I always come with a standard of professionalism. Whether I like you, yes or no, like, in my mind, I am here to do a job, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, which means that I'm going to do it as unto the Lord. You know what I mean? Because I don't tell him to say, so me and God apart. Even in the midst of all of that, even in the midst of the talking down and the unappreciativeness and the blaming and the this and the that, I was always super professional. And that is one thing that they could never say about me. Because I feel like as a child of God, you're supposed to move different. No matter if the world I come at you a certain way and other people are doing things a certain way, and who are cut off, who are trace and who are one. So I feel like as a child of God, you move different. Your characteristics different. People supposed to look on you and say, yo, I can't see the light. You know, the word talks about letting your light so shine so that people can see the God in you. And that is just what I had to remember. So even though I was going through all of that, I was just like, yeah, I still am gonna hold my head high. Yes, I'm gonna go home and I'd feel away, and I'd just be so and every time that I'd have to go there, I'd feel so but I just kind of kept that inside. So something else happened, and I was like, Lord, is this it? And he made it clear as day that him say, yeah, girl, this is enough. Enough is enough. This is it. And so my parents worked really close, and at that time, you know, I was like, as 5 o'clock come, that would be me heading through the door, because I'm not spending one more minute at this place, because you don't value me as an employee. You know what I mean? You have no respect for me. So I'm gonna do my work just the same, but I am not, and I'm gonna do it well, and I'm gonna go above and beyond. But 5 o'clock is my contracted time to leave, and I'm gonna leave. So as soon as 5 o'clock came, I would just walk and meet my parents. So as I reached my mom's or my parents' office, I knew that when them see me, like, I knew when my mother saw me, she knew something was wrong. And I said, Mommy, because they would have known that, I don't think they knew the extent to which I was going through it, but they know. You know when people know you, and they know when you're going through something, and they know says they work. But as I said, I'm the type of person, I'm a very inny person. If you watch any of my videos, you know, just sharing about life and life lessons and stuff, you guys know that I like to internalize things, and I'm not like a confrontational person or anything like that. So, but if you know me, you know that something is bothering me, you know. And I said to my mom, I can't do this anymore. Please help me to write a resignation letter. I am not spending one more day. Well, obviously I would have had to spend another day, because their policy was that you have to give 1 month's notice before you leave. So I did write that letter right there, and then printed it, envelope, letterhead, stamp up, seal up, everything. My mom would have been like, you know, just try to see if you can wait until the 2-year mark, you know, to at least say you work somewhere 2 years, and you know you get 2 years worth of experience. But I was like, no, Mommy, I can't stay here any longer. And remember, say I would have talked to God about this for months. I would have said, Lord, just let me know when, and I will cut. You understand? So I knew it was my time. The next day, I went in, gave in the letter. I just gave the manager that I reported to, I gave in the letter. And it was almost like the person was so surprised they were so surprised, because it's almost like they don't see the error in their ways. But then on the other hand, you have to be like walking on eggshells. You have to, every little thing would offend them, and every little thing that people would do would make them think that people were trying to talk to them some type of way. And you know, you're young, so you mustn't talk, and you must give your opinion, and your opinion no matter, and them something. And you know that during that time, you know, he was there, the manager was there asking me like, you know, why and whatever, and I was like, I don't feel like I need to give these people an explanation. I honestly don't feel like that. And remember, say I would have to work there for another month, and these are petty people. When I tell you, say them petty, right? And so I was just like, you know, I just feel like it's time to move on. And you know, then this is the weird part about it. After, you know, he would have asked me like, so where are you gonna go, and what, do you have another job lined up? And I was like, no, because in all honesty, I did not have another job lined up, and even if I did, I don't know if I would be very forthcoming with that kind of information. So of course, that month that I would have had to be there, it was the most awkward month ever. Like every day when I have to interact with them, it's just like, ugh, a drag. But I was still counting down the days, And you know what's so funny? Like they used to send some of the employees to come and ask me things, and thinking that I would not pick up that they're trying to find out something about me, because I honestly, like, it was, as I say, I'm a professional person. I'm non-confrontational. I don't like the whole heap of arguments and whatever. And to me, when you end things on that kind of note, it would have made my time there even worse. I already knew that the time would be terrible, that month would be terrible, but I knew that if I would have, you know, maybe gone in and be listening or whatever, and I know that they like to flip things, so they make it seem like, oh, you were trying to explain XYZ, and then they make it seem like they're the victims and you're the one who did the thing that was wrong. And I was very careful about not to disclosing certain information. And I remember on my last day, something even worse happened. Is like, I don't know if they were just trying to push my buttons, because as I said, they were a very petty type of people. But you see, the thing with me can see and tell when you're just trying to get a reaction out of me so that they can use it against me. Because they were the type of persons, right, who felt like, well, I know people in society, you know, and they were the type of people who would say things like, well, you're never gonna find another job in a Kingston, you're never gonna find another job XYZ, you're never gonna work nowhere ever again. It's like they want to come blacklist you. You understand what I mean? And so unnecessary. And I feel like my mother used to always tell me, say, you see people like that, them will never prosper. Them will never prosper. People who love to tear down people who like to tell lies against people, much less people who like to do those things to the people of God. You understand? Them not gonna prosper. I mean, I wish bad upon nobody, but may I say, you reap what you sow. They almost got me to do something that I knew would have left a bad taste. And so all me I get the tracing, and all the people that are going the most way, and the attitude and the this and the that. And of course, this last day, it was like it's supposed to be a big shebang. It's supposed to be a big shebang, because they must have vexed me decide to me I leave. Me not take this no more, me I'm going. And because they couldn't find out where I was going, what my next plans were and whatever, I feel like that made them even more upset. I don't know why, but it made them more upset. So when that last altercation or whatever happened, you know, I just kindly said thank you, thank you for your time, and that was it. I did not give them the time of day. Did not give them the time of day. I did not give them any reaction. I never answered them nothing, and trust me, I could have answered them. But you know, I'm a child of God, and wherever I go, I represent God. I went back down to my office, and one of the persons that worked closely with the manager came to me, and you know, she was just like, I just want to give you a hug right now. Like, I am so sorry. She was literally apologizing on behalf of the person. She was literally apologizing because, as I said, everybody heard. You know, it was like, I don't know if they were trying to do some, you know, big embarrassment in front of people or whatever. I don't know what it was. But I don't think the effect that maybe they were expecting it to have, it didn't have. And, you know, the person, she came to me and she was like, she's so sorry, you know. She was saying like, you know, all of that was so unnecessary. Literally was so unnecessary, and she's so sorry and whatever. And I honestly was just glad that that was my last day. I was glad to go. If that never solidified, if what happened before never solidified my departure and God's indication to me or instruction to me that it was my time to go, that last day surely did. I left, I went home, I watched TV, I watched movie, I watched Netflix, I twiddled my thumbs and whatever. And you know, I had been looking for jobs kinda in a way while I was there, because I knew I wasn't gonna stay that long, but I wasn't doing it diligently. I would have applied for stuff, thought that something else was gonna work out, and it didn't. You know, a couple things that I thought were like, yeah, it will work out, it didn't. And I was just at home. Then one of my friends from university, we went to university together, she messaged me, and you know, we're catching up, we're talking a little bit and whatever, and she said to me, you know, there's an opening at my job, but I'm not sure if you'd want it. You know, I'm not sure if you'd want it. It's a front desk or receptionist position and stuff like that. I started to ask her about the job, because I would have been praying during that time, and I said, God, I do not want to end up in another situation like the first job that I was working at. I don't want to be that kind of situation. I want to be a part of a company that values people. I want to be a part of a company that praises people for their good work. I want to be a part of a company that listens, that takes your advice, that sees when what you're saying makes sense, and seeing what you're saying can improve the company, can see when someone is genuine and someone is trying to help, and them something. I never want to be part of no more toxic culture, you understand? So I was asking my friend about it, and I was saying, what kind of company is it? You know, I was really asking her. And I don't know why, but I decided to go ahead and do the interview. I did the interview, they loved me, they were like, yes, how soon can you start? And I'm like, today, because I mean, I had no other, you know, job opportunities lined up or anything. It was the only one, and I feel like that was for a reason. And I started working a couple days after, again, like with the first job, and that would have been 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago, and I'm still currently at that job. And when I tell you that sometimes I just sit back and look at how everything that I would have asked the Lord for, you know, He would have provided it for me. Now, I'm not saying that every job that you go into, you're going to have challenges, so you just must pack up your clothes and leave. I'm not saying that everywhere you go, you're going to have a different set of challenges, but those specific things that I would have asked the Lord for, He would have granted me those things. And I feel like I've been so successful where I am, and I'm truly thankful for where I am, and God just has been good, and that is just a testimony of faith. Sometimes when we don't know what is ahead, we don't know, you know, what's next. Sometimes when we feel like this is it, period, this is a full stop, must go right here. So sometimes God will say, you know, is a comma, you know, I'm not done with you yet. You have more work to do. I have more purpose for you to fulfill. And you know, sometimes it can be very difficult as a young person, wanting to make a name, you know, a name for yourself, wanting to be able to earn, wanting to be able to take care of your family a certain way, you know, wanting to be able to, you know, get things as an adult. It can be difficult, but God has been faithful. He was faithful then, He's faithful now, and I know that He will continue to be faithful. And God's timing is so important. We have to remember as people of God that He is the I am that I am. He's the beginning, He's the end. He's the one who sits high and looks low. He knows the future. He knows your past, and He knows the present. So He knows what's best for you. A lot of times we think that what we have now is what's best for us, and that's it. You know, we think, oh, it can't get any better than this. And God has a bigger plan for us. But we need to just trust Him. We need to be in tune with Him. We need to listen to His leading in our lives, you know, and we need to ask Him, tell Him what we want, because His word does say that He grants the desires of our hearts. And remember that our God is a God whose plans for us are to prosper us, to give us hope and a future. I left there knowing that I did not stoop to any level. I did not, you know, take myself out of my character, or the character that God wants me to be, to answer nobody. I'm very glad and thankful about that, because even after I left, like, some of the people would still tell me, oh, you know, they talk about you and this is what they're saying, and some of the things that they're saying, you know, that don't make any sense, and that doesn't sound like how it actually went down. And I was just like, they're gonna talk and they're gonna say those things because they know they're wrong, you know. And it's almost like they're trying to get people on their side to make them feel like what they did must be validated, when it wasn't. You know what I mean? And I leave them to Jesus. I don't seek vengeance in any way. You know what I mean? I feel like it was a lesson and I learned so many things being there, and it only prepared me for where I am now, and even where God is gonna take me even after the present, you know. And I'm glad that my light would have shone there, even though them would have gone the most way. Them never could have said me disrespect them, I'm out of order, I'm unprofessional, but this or me that. Them couldn't say that, and if them did say it, them know say I lie, them they tell. You know what I mean? And the staff too would have known say I lied, them I tell. You understand? Because people saw the kind of person that I was. That was just my testimony of God's favor, you know, of the importance of trusting in Him and the importance of trusting in God's timing when it comes on to decisions in your life. And yeah, I hope this encouraged someone. If you guys, you know, have any stories that are similar, or if you guys could relate, you can leave that down in the comment section and we can chat a little bit. So I want to thank you guys for watching another episode of Just Debbie Marie. I want to remind you guys to subscribe if you haven't, and give this video a like if you enjoyed this video. I want to remind you to check out the previous videos on my channel, also my other channel called Yardments. Those links will be left in the description below. And if you're rocking with me today, remember to leave a smiley face in the comments to let me know that you've been here for the entire video. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.